Oliver was the most renowned hooter in the ancient Whisperwood. His voice wasn't just loud. It was a deep, resonant melody that rolled through the moonlit valleys, a comforting lullaby for the forest creatures and a proud declaration of the night. He knew every intricate variation. The soft inquiry, the territorial warning, the joyful celebration under the full moon. Owls from distant groves would sometimes glide silently through the darkness, just to perch nearby and absorb the rich, complex symphony pouring effortlessly from his beak. His identity was woven into that sound, as natural and essential as his wings or his keen golden eyes. It was who he was, a sonorous spirit of the ancient trees. One crisp autumn evening, as the first silver crescent climbed above the pines, Oliver opened his beak, ready to greet the night. He took a deep breath, felt the familiar vibration begin deep within his chest, but nothing emerged. Not a whisper, not a croak, just a hollow, silent rush of air. Panic, cold and sharp, seized him. He tried again, straining with all his might, puffing out his chest feathers. Still, utter silence. The forest around him seemed to grow unnaturally quiet, as if holding its breath, amplifying his terrifying muteness. Where was his magnificent voice? The instrument of his soul felt broken, stolen away. He clacked his beak in distress, a pitifully small sound against the vast, listening darkness. Days turned into a heavy, silent blur. Oliver retreated deep into his oak tree hollow, shrouded in profound shame. He couldn't bear the thought of facing the other owls, of seeing their confusion or pity. The joyous nightly chorus of his kin now felt like a cruel reminder of his loss. He stopped hunting at his usual hour, venturing out only in the deepest, loneliest part of the night. A silent ghost gliding over the frost-touched ferns. The world felt muffled, distant, and unbearably lonely without his own voice to connect him to it. He felt invisible, incomplete, a shadow of the owl he once knew himself to be. One such desolate midnight, while sitting dejectedly on a low, moss-covered branch near a bubbling stream, a tiny field mouse named Milo cautiously approached. Milo had often listened to Oliver's beautiful hoots from the safety of his burrow. Seeing the great owl so still and sad, his usual proud bearing slumped, Milo felt a pang of sympathy. "Mr. Owl?" Milo squeaked, his voice barely louder than the rustling leaves. "Are you all right? I haven't heard your wonderful song lately. The woods feel different without it." Oliver, startled, could only turn his huge, sorrowful eyes towards the tiny creature, unable to utter a single sound in reply, his beak opening and closing uselessly instead of fleeing. Milo stayed night after quiet night. The little mouse would emerge and sit near Oliver's tree. He didn't demand conversation. He simply offered his presence. He'd chatter softly about finding particularly plump seeds, or the funny shapes of passing clouds, or the intricate patterns of frost on leaves. He'd listen intently to the sounds Oliver couldn't make, the rustle of feathers, the soft clack of his beak. Slowly, tentatively, Oliver began to accompany Milo on his nightly explorations. He'd glide silently overhead as the mouse scurried below, pointing out interesting sights with a gentle nudge of his wing. A luminous patch of moonlit mushrooms, a sleeping butterfly, the intricate architecture of a spider's web jeweled with dew. A silent, profound companionship blossomed under the stars. One exceptionally clear night, bathed in the radiant light of a full moon that turned the world silver and black, they found themselves by the still, reflective surface of Moon Mirror Lake. The beauty was breathtaking, the water holding a perfect, shimmering duplicate of the starry sky above. Milo sighed happily, a small, contented sound moved by the profound stillness and the deep, accepting friendship he'd found in this tiny creature. Oliver felt a strange warmth swell within him. He looked at the moon's reflection, then at Milo, and without thinking, without straining, he opened his beak. Not to force a hoot, but simply to express. A sound emerged, incredibly soft, fragile, barely more than a trembling breath, shaped like a whisper. "Who?" The sound, faint as it was, echoed across the glassy water. Oliver froze, his heart pounding like a captured bird. He tried again, focusing not on power or perfection, but on the feeling of the cool air passing through his throat. On the gentle vibration he could just feel another whisper soft "ho" floated out, clearer this time, carrying the warmth he felt for Milo. It wasn't his old booming call, but it was his sound, returning like the first green shoot after a long winter. Tears welled in his golden eyes, glistening in the moonlight. He hadn't forgotten. He had merely lost the path, and Milo had helped him find a new, gentler way back. Oliver's voice returned gradually, not as the mighty trumpet of before, but as a softer, richer, more complex melody. It carried within it the depth of his silence and the tenderness of his friendship. He still announced the night, but now his song wove tales of moonlit walks with a mouse, of quiet understanding, and the rediscovery of joy in simple presence. The other owls, drawn by the new, deeply moving quality of his call, gathered closer, listening not just to the sound, but to the story it told. And often, if you listen very carefully on the stillest nights, you might hear, beneath the beautiful hoot, the faint, contented crunch of a little mouse sharing seeds with his very best friend. The owl who learned his song was more than just sound. It was the music of his heart, rediscovered.